All right, guys, I know it's been a little bit since my last video. I talked about LooksRare, cool project, cool staking opportunity. Coin's not doing so hot right now, but markets fluctuate. It's to be expected, but still really hot on staking opportunities. So my buddy Fred asked about any other staking projects I might be into that I'd recommend. This is probably my number one project, most excited about. It's called Crypto Raiders. It's a cool play to earn game, very retro feel. For any of you who've ever done RuneScape or World of Warcraft, definitely has kind of that more knight in armor type of feel, but a lot of strategy. Overall, pretty cool game. But leaving the gaming aside, which has its own economics and NFT valuations that you could definitely jump into, but simply just getting into the ecosystem has a really cool staking opportunity, some great tokenomics around the game. So let's hop into that now. The way to get into Crypto Raiders here is I'm actually just going to econ.cryptoraiders.xyz. So this is the staking page. Now this game, I should mention, is all built on the Polygon network. So it is an L2 off of Ethereum. So for those of you who are not familiar with Polygon, super strong project. Basically you're just going to swap some of your Ether into wrapped Ether on the Polygon network. The way you would do that is actually go to the Polygon bridge. So you could go, you look for this site. If you just search Polygon Bridge, you should find it pretty easily. It happens to be wallet.polygon.technology. You click on Polygon Bridge. You would connect your wallet of choice. I always use MetaMask, for those of you who don't know. But you essentially would just send your Ether to Polygon wrapped Ether, which is called WETH. And once you do that, you then can use it to transact on the Polygon network. But assuming you can get through these steps on your own, I want to show you specifically what the Crypto Raider staking ecosystem looks like. And so that's where I am now. So this is that econ.cryptoraiders.xyz webpage. And what you can see here is a few things. So first of all, there's two main utility tokens within the Crypto Raiders game. You've got AURUM, which literally means gold in Latin, fun fact. You also have Raider. AURUM is going to always have a less of an economic opportunity to it. This has a variable supply. So that means that the supply will either be burned or minted as needed in order to supply the in-game activities that take place. Raider, on the other hand, has a fixed supply of 100 million. The valuation has done very well over time. I've been in this since it was around 80 cents or so. It's now well over $5. It's been hanging around $5. It's a pretty stable price target for quite some time. All-time high was around $12. So that's the first thing to call out, just these two tokens. But as we scroll down the site here, you'll notice a few different staking opportunities. The first here is going to be staking Raider to earn AURUM. Now this one's actually the least interesting from a pure staking opportunity, but the reason you would ever get involved in this pool is if you are playing the actual Crypto Raiders game, or even if you're not, but you're just interested in some of the benefits. If you stake your Raider in this pool, A, you will get a percent of all AURUM spent in the game. So that's how they're actually paying out the incentives for staking your Raider. But B, you also gain access to airdrops. So they'll sometimes release new weapons, new horses or characters, and people who are staked in this pool gain exclusive access to those airdrops. Lastly, there is a governance function. So by being a member of this pool, it indicates that you're invested in the game, so to speak, and so you do actually have some governance in terms of the DAO that governs the Crypto Raiders, the game itself. Moving along from that, though, more interesting is where we get down into these liquidity pools. So I mentioned, Crypto Raiders is built on the Polygon network. Polygon, again, is a layer 2 or an L2 off of Ethereum. And you may have heard of DeFi exchanges like Uniswap, which are used, a really big one for Ethereum. Well, the L2 for Polygon actually has its own Uniswap called SushiSwap. Essentially what you're doing here, though, is you're actually buying two token combinations. And you can see some of the ones represented here. I'm going to focus this conversation on the AURUM MATIC combination. That has consistently had the highest APR. This has been well over 200% since about October of 2020. So pretty healthy. I've seen it as high as 300%, averaging around 250%. And then more recently, as we've seen more total value locked moving in, I have seen it closer to 200%, but still very healthy APRs. And focusing in on this particular token pair, what you essentially will do is buy AURUM and MATIC in equal combinations, and then you will create liquidity pool tokens on SushiSwap that indicate that you have provided equal amounts of AURUM and MATIC. You get a token in return, but you're essentially giving your AURUM and your MATIC to a general pool so that anytime somebody goes to SushiSwap and needs to exchange from one token to the other or vice versa, there's a readily available liquidity to do so. The reward to you as somebody who's providing this liquidity is that you will get a percentage of all exchanges that happen from the AURUM to MATIC token combination. And so if there's 100 people staking, providing liquidity, and $1 million gets transacted, or $1 million in fees, I should say, get generated, that $1 million in fees, in SushiSwap suite fees, would be dispersed across the 100 members who have provided liquidity. So it's a pretty awesome opportunity. That's what's generating this 200% APR, largely because there's only about $6 million of total value locked here, or liquidity available. And so this is where we'll focus in on how do you actually get into doing this. So if you're coming here for the very first time, you're obviously not going to have, if I click manage here for a second, you'll see that I'm already staking some AURUM MATIC tokens. You can see they're called LP tokens. And so I've got about 28,000 tokens already staked. If you're coming for the first time though, you of course would not have this. And so what you could do is you could click on this button down here where it says you can get LP tokens by adding liquidity on SushiSwap here. You would click this, it would navigate you to SushiSwap, the app. And what you would basically do then is you would input something that you already own in your MetaMask wallet, probably WETH, since you just sent that to the Polygon bridge. You put that in and you would buy, first you'd buy some AURUM, and then second you would buy some MATIC. And you would try to gauge it so that you're getting about an equal amount of AURUM MATIC in the end. You would essentially then be able to say, I want to add some AURUM and some MATIC, and here's the amounts I'm going to add. And you would click, let me just go ahead and connect my wallet here, but you would essentially click get liquidity tokens, and that will give you back into your MetaMask those liquidity tokens that represent the amount you've put in. My internet seems to be running a little bit slow right now. Again, I got to find some cooler shit to do as I'm doing these videos. Oh, and that's my fault. It's actually not running slow. I just got to log in. Probably shouldn't show this part on video. Oh, well. Okay. Boom. And so now that I'm actually logged in, you can see that it did default me to the AURUM MATIC combination of liquidity. Before I do this, I'm actually going to show you, the more advanced, once you're kind of in the ecosystem, what can you do to really get exponential gains here. So you can see that I've got, again, about 28,000 liquidity tokens staked. I've earned about 245 Raider on that staking, and at $5 roughly per Raider, that's essentially $1,250 plus. So not bad. It's probably about a week's worth that I've been earning that. But what I'm actually going to do is that Raider that I'm earning, so I'm getting Raider back by providing AURUM MATIC liquidity. I'm going to go ahead and collect that Raider. So I'm going to click Get Rewards. And I don't know what is going on. Things are running over. There we go. So I'm going to click Get Rewards. I will note, as you get into the Polygon network, make sure you always keep at least a couple of MATIC in your wallet. MATIC is, rather than burning Ether on Ethereum, you burn MATIC to do transactions on the Polygon network. So have a little bit of MATIC available. Now you don't need much. One MATIC is maybe $1.50, $2, and you only need, as you can see, a very small fraction of MATIC every time you transact. So that's one of the benefits of Polygon. It's faster, and it also only costs less than a penny for every transaction you make. So it's very cheap. But I'm going to go ahead and say, yep, I want to collect those rewards. Click confirm. Boom. What's going to happen is, in my MetaMask now, you can see it is performing that activity. So I'm just going to give it a minute. Looks like maybe the network's running a little bit slower than usual. What are you going to do? Boom. Okay, so I collected my Raider. I now have 0 here. But if I scroll back up to the top, you can see that I've got 245 Raider now in my collection, so to speak. And I also would have it in my actual MetaMask wallet. Those 245 Raider here. I happen to have some AURUM earlier. That must have been left over from last time I collected. I'm going to go ahead and grab the rest of the AURUM that I have in this pool. I know that most of you will not be in that pool. That's fine, but since I'm there, I might as well just collect my rewards. So what we're actually going to do, though, is we're going to reinvest these rewards. And then that essentially allows us, if you do this daily, let's say, and the fees are low enough that you can do it daily, that essentially allows us to compound our returns. So I'm just going to refresh this. All right, boom. I've got my Raider. I've got my AURUM. These are reset back to 0. By the end of this, you'll see this number should have increased by the time we do what we need to do on SushiSwap. All right. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go ahead and say buy AURUM. And I'm just going to click that so it takes me over to SushiSwap. And now here what I'm doing is essentially I'm saying I want to exchange one token for another token. And right now I'm trying to get a pretty equal amount of AURUM and MATIC, but I do not need my Raider. Raider is what I'm going to use to buy AURUM and MATIC. So first thing is I'm actually going to swap these. And so I'm going to say I'm going into MATIC, and I'm going to buy from Raider, which I have 245 in my wallet. And so I'm going to buy about a half of 245. So let's just throw in 120, simple math here, and hit swap. I'm going to confirm it. It's going to ask me to confirm it again in my wallet. It always gives you that double check. You can see these fees here, 0.005 MATIC. I should probably check out what the MATIC price is right now, but it's cheap, I promise. It's also fast, so I'm already done there. So now I'm also going to get the rest of my Raider and go into AURUM. I'm going to do the remaining balance I have, so I'm just going to do the max. Click that button, hit swap, confirm it. Bada bing, bada boom. And let's see, 3, 2, 1, we're done. So there you go. So I have now just bought. If I go to my assets, you can see I've got about Let me refresh, just a little bit of a lag there. You can see that I've got about 525 MATIC and about 15,000 AURUM. So now what I'm going to do is go into pool, which liquidity pool is what that stands for. And I'm going to go ahead and click add. And so now what it's going to do is say, hey, give me 2 tokens that you want to add in equal ratios, and we'll give you liquidity tokens in exchange, representing that you've got ownership in that liquidity pool. So I am going to add MATIC, but I'm also just going to go ahead and add AURUM here. And let's just see, if I do the max amount of MATIC, it looks like that needs more AURUM than what I have. I only have 15,000 AURUM here, and I would need about 21,000 to do the max MATIC. So I'm actually going to flip this. Somehow I ended up with more MATIC in my wallet. I probably had some left over from some other stuff, but cool. So going this direction, I do have enough MATIC to cover the max AURUM. And I'm going to go ahead and say, yep, go ahead and confirm adding this liquidity. Again, confirm in the wallet. Always got to double click. That's cool though, making sure that we're secure here. All right, and so that should be done now. It's still pending, you can see. So it does give you this little UI at the top telling you the status. We'll give it another 3, 2, 1. Damn, didn't work out for me this time. Thought I might feel the pressure. It didn't. But all right, so we do this waiting game. We get these tokens. And once we have those back in our wallet, these liquidity pool tokens, we'll head back to Crypto Raiders where we'll actually stake those. And then the amount I'll have staking, which was previously 28,600 when I started this video, we'll add in about another 365 or so tokens, which we just got once this completes.